Hi there all of you, as we head to Sandown Park for the Tingle Creek. Now, this year's renewal is going to be a blockbuster of a race, but more of that later. We're also up at Aintree for the Beecher, but before our first look at the fences on the Grand National course, there is a listed Juvenile hurdle on the card, where it could pay to go with Ross O'Sullivan's Irish Raider, Bebe Muss. Third to Gordon Elliott's Monge 2, last time out, who was one of Caroline's magnificent 5 out of 5 last Sunday. This looks like well-franked form now that rival has gone on to win at graded level. So Edge's selection for me over Dan Skelton's Edelac and Paul Nicholls' Treasure Planet. Donald McCain Jr.'s Lord looks the tempting each-way angle, if that's your thing, but Bebe Muss is my pick for the win. And before I go any further, let me bring in Caroline, who would like to pick up on a couple of graded races at Navan on Saturday. So Caroline, I'm sure you're itching to get back to us here in the office after your brilliant 5 out of 5 last Sunday.
Why, thank you, Jaysella. I hope yours was all on the tips from last Sunday. And thank you, David D, for your lovely comment. Though, despite my Irish heritage, I know Lady Luck is a vanishing spirit, so I'm as sure as a gun that this weekend won't be anywhere near as successful. But for what it's worth, I do like the appeal of Classical Greek in the Navan Novice Hurdle, though stablemates Port Authority and Covanis make a strong team for inform Gordon Elliott. Now, let me get you straight back to Jaysella for the Tingle Creek.
So here I go with my Saturday nap, and let's face it, there's no point beating about the bush. Let's go right to the big one, the Tingle Creek. The 2-mile chase is my favourite race, always has been, always will. What a race, what a race. We really are in for a treat for the feature, the Tingle Creek, where Willie Mullin's Il Ete Tomp has dominated the anti-post market. But here we have Nicky Henderson's John Bon going for a hat-trick of wins in this race to add to the 2022 win over course and distance in the Henry VIII, the novice version of this 2-mile Grade 1, and Dan Skelton's Low Do Sud, last year's winner of the Henry VIII, who beat John Bon by 15 lengths in the Schloer Chase at Cheltenham last month. What a race! Did I mention that? So, for me, over this trip, I do feel that Low Do Sud is the least exposed and one with more to come. He gets his ground here and just might have the speed angle over Il Ete Tomp, but away from Cheltenham, 5-time course winner John Bon has to be firmly in the mix. An absolute cracker in store, but I'll take my gamble of Low Do Sud on this ground. Fingers crossed. My next best is in the novice version of the Tingle Creek, earlier on Sandown Park's card. A chance to see the really exciting Lulamba as he progresses his novice chasing campaign up to Grade 1 level. All roads lead to Cheltenham in March for this Arkle favourite. So if he's as good over fences as he was over the sticks, this is going to be one not to miss. Mind you, I know you've heard me banging on in the podcast about how red-hot Dan Skelton's yard is running just now, so Be Aware looks like the one to make a race of it for last year's winning trainer. A classy race, despite just the 4 of them, with Sam Thomas's Lump Sum and Ollie Murphy's hat-trick seeking Alnilam, but Lulamba should be winning this. So let's look at the first race on Sandown Park's Saturday card, the listed Claremont Novices Hurdle. Well, Philip Hobbs and Johnson White will be hoping that Sober Glory can carry on his unbeaten run, and the booking of Harry Cobden does look interesting. But I reckon it's another Harry that's going to the winner's enclosure, because I reckon that Soldier Reeves is winning this. Dan Skelton won this last year, and given the conditions, it's his Soldier Reeves that they all have to beat. I do get that Sober Glory has done nothing wrong yet, but on this softened ground, it's Soldier Reeves for me, with Jamie Snowden's fresh perspective making my 3. Up at Aintree, and with a liking for extreme trips, I think Sarah Bradstock's Mr Van Gogh could be the one to land the Beecher. Last seen winning the Midlands National at Autoxeter, he goes well fresh, and I reckon he can defy the £9 rise and top weight to score over the national fences. Gallia de Litu, Gaboriot and Bill Baxter all make my shortlist, but it's all about who copes with these unique fences. And I'll know that Jack Tudor just has to steer a safe passage for Mr Van Gogh to get him involved at the business end of things. Mr Van Gogh to outlast them all for the Beecher. Back at Sandown, for the London National, I think I'll chance my arm with Mr Tanganyika. Having finished second in the Midlands National at Autoxeter in March, this marathon trip holds no fears, and I reckon Venetia Williams' Marteline Gelding has more wins in him over these extreme trips. He usually needs a run to be at his best, so the 5th of 10 at Cheltenham 3 weeks back should bring Mr Tanganyika on for this. It was last year's winner, Mr Vango, that won this last year, and who now goes in the Besher Chase at Aintree, but it was Mr Vango that beat the selection in the Midlands National, so I'm seeing a strong form line for this, considering the conditions. Jumps well, stays, and won't be minding the ground, so Mr Tanganyika ticks all the boxes for me and gets my vote.